sorry for the lateness. We got Councilman Galvin here, and we will do roll call, Madam Clerk, then we do pledge of allegiance, and then we'll go to consent agenda.
Chairman Desilme,
Here?
Board Member Timothy. Here. Board Member Charles.
Present.
Vice Chair Estimate Irvin.
Present.
Board Member Galvin.
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Guys, let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. We have quite a packed agenda today. Consent agenda and then approval of minutes from the October 10th meeting.
Unless a member of the CRA Board wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, tab A constitutes the consent agenda. This item is self-explanatory and is not expected to require additional review or discussion. This item will be recorded as individually numbered item adopted unanimously by the following motion: that the consent agenda comprised of tab A be adopted.
Thank you so much. May I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead, Madam. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm not
You're
trying to
doing
go
what you're
back.
supposed to do. That's
I
fine.
know, right? I'm not
I have
trying
a
to
motion
go-
made by Board Member Galvin to approve the consent agenda comprised of tab A. The motion was seconded by Board Member Charles. The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes. Do we need a motion for that, Mr. Attorney? Do we? For the approval of the, yes.
No, that's what we did under the
We
consent
did,
agenda.
okay, and
Yes.
that's part of the consent.
Yes.
The A item.
That
Agenda,
is the
Item number one.
consent agenda.
I just saw that. I just got to realize that. Item number 1.
agenda item 1, approval of revised residential rehabilitation program guidelines. A resolution of the chair and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving an amendment for the residential rehabilitation program guidelines to provide for an increase in the funding limit from $20,000 to $30,000 and providing an effective date. Agenda item 1.
Thank you. Public hearing? Open on item 1. Seeing none coming, public hearing closed.
So move.
I'm sorry.
Sure. Questions? Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, for me, I just had one amendment if we can make to the grant guidelines. Under eligible uses on page 7, for roof repair, it only says only for non-insured homeowners. I didn't realize that only if you did not have insurance, you can apply for the roof repair. So I would suggest that we remove that. We strike that so that
On page
everyone.
7?
So that everyone,
Oh, I see. Legal description of the property.
eligible uses, it says on
Eligible
page
uses.
7 of the actual
Of the actual.
Yeah, the
guideline.
fourth
It says
bullet.
It says roof repair or replacement, and it has an asterisk, and it says only for non-insured homeowners.
That's not,
Yeah, I thought that was kind of limiting.
That is
Yeah, I agree.
limited, right?
I agree.
Yes, and if you do have homeowners insurance, we usually ask you to reach out to the homeowner insurance first.
Yeah.
And if you do not qualify or if they don't want to repair it, then you can apply for the program.
Okay.
We usually require a letter from the broker or the insurance company
Awesome.
before
Yeah, I
you could
just would like to
apply.
make that
No,
amendment,
I
so
agree.
scratch that.
So that's more reason why this link
Yeah,
should.
we
No,
just
no,
want
no.
you to go through the proper channels before you could apply for
Awesome.
our
Okay.
grant.
Motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
there's the asterisk is next to it, and then at the bottom is an explanation
Oh,
of
that's
what the
okay.
asterisk means,
Got it.
which is what,
What he just mentioned. Okay.
Yeah, I would just like to remove that.
Did we remove it?
Right, so what you're saying, Mr. Attorney, is that the asterisk gives the explanation?
yes, if you look at the bottom of page
Yeah.
7, it says applicants requesting roof repair or replacement funding must provide proof of insurance denial letter for coverage.
Okay. So what?
So what my amendment was by striking that asterisk,
Period.
it would just kind of just remove that whole portion, even if you don't have a denial letter or, if you just need a roof repair, because roofs are
Period.
expensive. Like, it could be, your roof is $40,000 and you just may need a $30,000 patchwork. We shouldn't limit that person from applying because they don't have a denial. So my amendment would be to strike that part from the application.
I believe.
So is it possible that we can do both? So I understand where you're coming from. Is it possible that we can strike this language and still have that policy that you know, that if you have roof insurance, let's go through your insurance first, and then if you're denied. You understand what I mean? I get what you're saying, because if I were to see this, I would more than likely assume that I'm not eligible.
Right.
Even though it explains it down there, you know, that's all
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right here, page 7.
That's what I was, on page 7.
And then maybe if they don't have it, it doesn't disqualify them. I just would like that
Yeah,
language to
I
reword.
agree with,
Yeah.
Timothy, and you know, the stuff that we've been having, half of the problem, we are experiencing a high, you know, insurance problem with the seniors, not only the seniors, but most of the folks, and we can't do certain things with the city, so this is the best way we could do it. I totally agree with that. So can we get a motion to, as
So-
amended?
Councilman Charles would
Would you-
like
Oh,
me
yeah,
to
yeah.
accept the amendment?
But I just have one question to that. By doing so, I think with the language that we have in place, that help us out to make sure that homeowners goes first to the insurance instead of like, so that just reduce a little bit the pool of applicants that we have, because if they go to their insurance and exhaust that, then they come to us. I don't know. I think what we have now just helping us out.
No, but
and
their insurance would not repair the roof for them.
Right, so actually, that's
Yeah.
what I just
Unless
said.
it's
So
damage.
I also understand Board Member Charles' point. And so essentially, we're doing exactly what we're all saying. I think, I agree to take off the language, because it deters people from thinking, if, you know what, if I have insurance, I don't qualify.
we agree with
But the
that.
policy here is, if you have insurance, we're gonna ask you to do the due diligence to go through your
Yeah.
insurance. If you are then denied, then you would come, because then there's a double dipping, so.
Wait a minute, I'm lost. What insurance are they talking about?
The
The homeowners
Homeowners
insurance.
The
insurance.
homeowners will just fix your roof?
Depending on
Yeah,
what
of course.
circumstance.
If you have it covered.
If you have it covered, they would
That's
fix
what I'm
it.
saying. So
If
what
you
are-
don't have it covered, you can't.
If you don't have it covered,
The
then we
people
do.
don't have
we do-
regular
yeah.
thing covered, you talking
Yeah.
about, so what, yeah.
Usually, when somebody applies for the program, the first thing we do is we ask for a letter if they have homeowners insurance, and we actually reach out to either to the broker or to the company to help them. If once they receive that letter, then we do allow them to participate in the program, as long as they signed a waiver saying that they will get
Get insurance
within
6
90
months after.
days of the completion of the program.
Is it
90
90
days.
or 60?
No,
6 months?
90
Okay.
days.
Within that's what, right, but I think they're saying something else. I assume that was the process, because most of the people that we've been helping did not have insurance, and they cannot qualify under the city's guideline. So are we saying because I'm a little confused. I thought you were
What
clear.
my amendment was the reason why I was requesting that we remove that asterisk is because, let's say my roof is on its last year, and I
Yeah.
can't go through the insurance, but I know this roof is getting ready to come up on their last year. And so at that point, what happens to that homeowner who's in that wedge? Like hey, my roof is on its last leg, I know it's getting ready to die soon, and I need to fix it, but I can't. So the way that the language says, only for non-insurers, if I were to read that, I'm like, hey, I can't get my roof repaired because it says only for those who don't have insurance. I think that's a bit
what we
misleading.
were agreeing
So-
on.
so would you only strike out the word only?
None,
Non.
none,
Non, yeah.
And then
the
we-
word none.
Or just
So we
that-
could
that
actually
part.
strike the language and leave the asterisk, and the
Yes.
asterisk
Which would
just
go to the
has the
bottom.
explanation saying,
Okay.
if you are requesting roof
Got it,
repair,
Councilman?
go to your
Yeah.
insurance company, get your
Yeah.
denial letter, and
Yeah,
then.
we all are saying
Yeah.
this the same thing,
Yeah.
because, and I must say, and I'm not saying this because, you know, as the mayor of the city, but I think we probably, out of the 34 cities in Miami-Dade County, the municipality, one of those who not only we've done these things, but we have gone into our general fund on the city side to do what we do. So this is really, and we've gotten stuff from all over the state, the work that we do. So this is important. Thank you so much. Motion to approve. We have a full
With the
agenda.
amendment.
So just
With
to
the
be clear,
amendments.
for the record, the amendment would be to strike out
The word
the
none.
the parenthetical after roof repair and replacement. The parenthetical states only for non-insured homeowners. We're gonna delete that.
Correct.
And just
Correct.
keep the asterisk, right?
And keep
Keep
the
the
asterisk
asterisk,
in
whatever at
bottom.
the bottom.
Yes.
Okay,
That's it.
Okay.
you all good?
So do
Oh.
you accept, Councilman?
Yes,
Charles?
definitely I will accept the
right.
amendment.
Second,
So I have a motion made by Board Member Charles to approve the item, agenda item 1,
We need a
And
second.
the motion was seconded by Board Member Timothy with the
Awesome.
proposed amendments as stated by the CRA attorney. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Awesome, thank you. Item 2.
Agenda item 2, resolution to approve revised bylaws. A resolution of the chairman and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving and adopting the amended and restated bylaws of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency and providing for an effective date. Agenda item 2.
Thank you. I don't think there's a lot of discussion to this. It's fairly simple, but public hearing is open on item number 2. Okay, seeing none, public hearing is closed. This was very fairly, I think I'm definitely in supportive of the item. So move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Chairman Desilme to approve agenda item 2. The motion was seconded by Vice Chair Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you. Before we move forward, I would like to publicly acknowledge we have the Queen. We know it's Delta Day here. We'll do that. But my mentor, my mother, and everything, the school board member, the Honorable representing North Miami very well, the Honorable Dorothy Bendros Mendengal. Thank you for Delta Day to be here with us. We see you. And right next to her is our former commissioner from the great city of Miami, Commissioner Watson. Please stand up. Thank you so much, Jeffrey Watson. Thank you guys. All right, Madam Clerk, item 3.
Agenda item 3, resolution to approve contract with HCT Auditing Services. A resolution of the chairman and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving the auditor selection committee selection of HCT Certified Public Accountants and Consultants, LLC, parentheses HCT, to provide independent auditing services to the North Miami CRA, authorizing the executive director and North Miami CRA attorney to negotiate and finalize an agreement with HCT to provide independent auditing services to the North Miami CRA for an initial 3-year term with 2 additional 1-year renewal options and a first-year fee not to exceed $18,750. Authorizing, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Authorizing the executive director to execute the agreement with HCT, authorizing the executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the agreement, and providing for an effective date. Agenda item 3.
Thank you. Anybody want, open for public discussion. I know Madam Executive Director is laughing. Public hearing closed. Thank you. I see none coming. Any questions, anything?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. I had asked the executive director during briefing, so that was the only company who applied, who actually answered to the bid.
To the RFP, that is correct.
Okay, so unfortunate. Okay. So,
I have a motion made by the vice chair to approve the agenda item 3. The motion was seconded by board member Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
thank you so much. Item 4.
Agenda item 4, a resolution to approve contract renewal with PFM. A resolution of the chair and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving an agreement with PFM Financial Advisors, LLC, to provide financial advisory services in an amount not to exceed $75,000, utilizing the City of Pompano Beach contract with PFM Financial Advisors, LLC, per RFP number E-34-17 for financial advisory services, authorizing the executive director to execute the agreement with PFM Financial Advisors, LLC, authorizing the executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the agreement and providing for an effective date. Agenda item 4.
Thank you so much. Public hearing is open on number 4. See none coming. Public hearing is closed.
So moved.
Second, but I'd like to have discussion or just ask a couple
ahead.
of questions. So this is the consultant that's going to be advising us on the bonds that we are seeking as a CRA.
That is correct.
Okay. And this is not is this a piggyback?
The original contract was a piggyback from the City of Pompano Beach, and then the City of Pompano Beach did extend their contract with this firm for additional 5 years. So we are also piggybacking on that renewal.
Okay.
Alberta would love piggyback. Okay, so,
Okay,
I was hoping you wouldn't catch that.
I know.
Makes it easier, right? Yeah, I just wanted the public to know and all of the stakeholders and business to know that we're getting ready to thank God for our interlocal agreement that we
Yes.
negotiated and the ability to get more funding so that we can help more small businesses in particular for our city for economic development. So I just wanted to highlight that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. We did open public hearing, right, and closed it.
Opened, closed, and
Thank
I have a
you.
motion made by Board Member Timothy to approve Agenda Item 4. The motion was seconded by Vice Chair Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Item number 5.
Agenda Item 5, a resolution to approve proposal with Savino Miller for Pioneer Boulevard, a resolution of the chairman and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency, authorizing the executive director and North Miami CRA attorney to negotiate and finalize an agreement with Savino and Miller Design Studio PA, parentheses Savino Miller, to provide landscape architectural services for the Pioneer Boulevard Median Improvement Project located along Northeast 137th Street between Northeast 6th Avenue and West Dixie at a not-to-exceed fee of $126,000. Authorizing the executive director to execute the agreement with Savino Miller. Authorizing the executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the agreement and providing an effective date. Agenda Item 5.
Okay, thank you. Public hearing is open on number 5. Seeing none come, public hearing is closed.
Move for
I
approval?
do- wait, 1 second. I'm in support. I just had a quick question. Madam Executive Director, is this the same? I know we had a couple months ago, and I don't recall, we had the thing with the statue. Is this the
Right.
same thing? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
No, it is not. The last one we had was for the base, for the
For
sculpture.
the statue?
Yes.
Oh.
It's something completely different.
Okay, but are we still doing that?
Yes, we
Oh,
are. Yes, we
All
are.
right, I just wanted to, okay, thank you. All right. Public hearing is closed. I think we got I didn't hear a second. Are you?
I
Yeah,
did,
yeah.
yes.
We
got
did.
Go, Board Member.
We good.
Board Member Galvin.
We got a reception to get to.
I have a motion made by Vice Chair Estimate Irvin to approve Agenda Item 5. The motion was seconded by Board Member Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Item number 6.
Agenda Item 6, resolution to approve contract with Content Nice LLC. A resolution of the chair and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency authorizing the executive director and North Miami CRA attorney to negotiate and finalize an agreement with Content Nice LLC to provide content creation and website management services for fiscal year 2023-2024 for an amount not to exceed $31,200. Authorizing the executive director to execute the agreement with Content Nice LLC. Authorizing the executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the agreement and providing for an effective date. Agenda Item 6.
Thank you so much. Public hearing is open on item 1. Seeing none coming, public hearing is closed.
Move for approval, but have a
I have
question?
a question.
Questions?
Have questions?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
Quickly, is that a renewal?
This is not a renewal. This is the first time the contract is coming up. And this is, and I want to be very transparent with the board, this is being done pursuant to Section 7-120 subsection B of the city's Code of Ordinances, which is a bid waiver and will require a 4/5 vote of this board. Content Nice is known as the social media team. They're the ones who are attending our events, the board events, our project grand openings, and capturing the content that you see that we display on our website. They manage our website. They do create the content that we are able to then use to promote the work of the CRA.
Now, how would they come out? Do we put a request for them?
No, this is a bid waiver, so this is not.
No, I'm talking about now in the scope of service. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I mean, we tell them which events that we want them to attend. Once we know which events you all may want them to attend, and they go out. If it's a CRA affiliated event, then we definitely try and make sure they have a presence there so they can capture the content and do those things.
Okay.
You
All
good?
right. Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm good.
Awesome.
Right,
Go
so
ahead.
Both of you kind of addressed some of the questions that I have, but what I want to know about accountability, like in terms of, are there metrics on how they're going to grow? No, this includes social media, correct? Right.
Okay, I want to be clear
So I
about
want to
what,
make sure that they're in growth.
so I want to be clear about what they do.
Okay.
They capture the content and they give us our content. Our item number 7 is going to be with, to approve a contract with Hip Rockstar, who actually posts our content and manages our social media. So there are 2 different companies that do 2 different roles.
Okay.
And so they are our content creation team, and we have a different team who does different things.
Okay.
Oh,
so-
okay, so wait a minute. Are they gonna help us manage the website?
The website
Okay.
they do manage, but
That's
not
what
our
I-
social media.
No, I
That's
got
what I
it.
wanted
Okay,
to
perfect,
understand.
thank you.
And
Go ahead, sir.
if I, and again, when we have events that affiliated with the CRA, they will come out and cover and everything.
Yes, as long as that they do know and there are no other conflicts. Remember, they're not full-time with the CRA, so if they have another booking prior to the CRA making them aware of an event, they are a 3-person team. So, I mean, we do make our events known, and they are normally present, and they do make themselves available for our events if we ask them.
I was going to say, can you identify, and it doesn't have to be now, but some of the signature events that the CRA has, because you're saying that it's based on their schedule. So at least like, I know that, if I'm not mistaken, Teach to Fish, for example, would be an example
Even
of
the
a.
women's breakfast or.
Right, their signature event that they should be
Since
present.
I've been,
I
since
just
I've been here, if you have seen content,
Oh,
they're the ones who've
yes,
captured it.
yeah.
We
No,
don't capture content any
I just
other
want to state it on
way.
the record. Yeah, I just
Yes,
want to state it on the
absolutely.
record.
We good, all in,
So, no.
I'm sorry.
The vice chair,
I
the
motioned
vice
it.
chair made the
Motion,
motion, but I don't have a second.
Second.
yeah.
Okay. I have a motion made by Vice Chair Estimate Irvin to approve Agenda Item 6. The motion was seconded by Board Member Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you, number 7.
Agenda Item 7, resolution to approve contract with Hip Rockstar LLC. A resolution of the chair and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency authorizing the executive director and North Miami CRA attorney to negotiate and finalize an agreement with Hip Rockstar to provide communication management services for fiscal year 2023-2024 for an amount not to exceed $74,100. Authorizing the executive director to execute the agreement with Hip Rockstar LLC, authorizing the executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the agreement, and providing for an effective date. Agenda Item 7.
Thank you so much. Public hearing is open on item 7. Okay, seeing none coming, public hearing is closed. So
Move for
moved.
approval,
Second.
and I have also a question.
Sure.
and
Before
comment.
your question, I also
Okay.
want to make very clear that this is also going to be a bid waiver pursuant to section
You got it.
7-120, subsection B, requiring a 4/5 vote.
We got it. Go ahead, Madam.
Well, first I'd like to, thank them for making sure that there's a trilingual information material that's so important. So thank you for including that in your description of the scope of work. I just want to, again, understand the matrix, like, where are we now? How are we expanding? After COVID, it's evident that a social media presence is vital. God forbid we were to have a pandemic or anything of some sort, this is the way we're going to communicate. So I kind of would want to know where we are now and where we, is there a gauge of where we're going to be in 6 months? What's the end goal? That's what I would want to know, because this is the social media portion, right?
So with the approval of the contract, we can now engage in a proper social media strategy for them to be able to deploy, but they do so much more than social media. Hip Rockstar will be doing our annual report. They do generate our newsletter. They will be developing campaigns for our projects and our programs for the CRA. So this is a full service communications team. And again, now that we have a contract in place, once you approve it, they will be able to come and give the full services that they would love to do.
Right, and I would love to be, I don't know if every other board member, I think it would be courteous that we're a part of that, or when the content or whatever it is planned, that we are, we're in harmony and we're a part of that, so we can have our input. So I
Well,
just
we
wanna-
are the policy stuff. We
No,
just
I
need
know,
to
but
direct what
what's
we
the-
do.
right.
I got it.
Yeah.
My question quickly.
I'd like to meet with them.
First of all, I love Hip Hop Rocks. They started Jessica from Nomi Fest.
The first
and all that.
Nomi Fest.
Exactly. So My only thing is, with the 35 hours monthly, what happened, because I do see that if that goes over, because 35 hours a month, I said weekly, it's a month. When you divide that, whatever the case is, so would there be anything, I know Jessica, you here, how would we work that out if?
So-
Jessica, you can say hi, come on up, yeah.
As she approaches the podium,
Yeah.
we have a great partnership with
Okay,
Hip
no,
Hop
I know.
Star, and we've never had a situation where that happens, but we do internally have mechanisms in place where we're working with them, so the work is shared. But
Okay.
I will let Ms.
Yeah.
Modkins address that.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor. It's wonderful to be here. The question was, how do we manage hours? Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
well, mainly the 35 hours, not necessarily.
Mayor trying to go to
you-
100 hours.
Yeah.
He's gonna call you
Yeah, it's not
a lot.
really
That's
you.
what he's trying to
We
say.
know you here. So would that be, Annabelle, if the 35, so we are comfortable, and you say you were good with that we won't have any issues in terms of that?
I don't believe we
Awesome.
would.
No,
Thank you so much, we good.
thank you.
All right.
No,
Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I have a
Yes,
quick
sir. question.
And in the second whereas, at the very bottom, I see that they will also handle community outreach.
Yes.
And now can I have some clarity on that, how they plan to do so? So when it comes to community outreach, so what is that
So-
entail?
Right. So again, with an approved contract, I have not sat down with them to
and-
start doing this kind of work without an approved contract. So this is a service that they do provide. However, now with an approved contract in place, we'll be able to sit down with them and discuss the needs of our community outreach for the CRA area with our programs and our projects. And then we are also developing different campaigns per project and program that we will be able to deploy. But this was important to have this in place prior to racking up invoices.
Yeah,
But
because-
also,
Mhm.
go
Go ahead,
ahead,
Mayor.
go ahead, sir. No, go ahead.
No, what I wanted to add to that, because community outreach also included, but not limited to, boots on the ground.
Yes.
So that's why I just
That's a
wanted to make
different
sure that,
conversation, though. To be
Mhm.
fair to
Yeah.
them, madam, if you go and sit down with them, I don't think
Yeah,
this
that's-
include, they could say they do that. So
What are
if
the
they-
services that they include?
Yeah, they
It's probably at an
include it.
addendum
Yeah,
cost, yeah.
yeah. I
yeah.
don't think
No,
we
I
need
just
to-
want, I just
Oh, I
want to
got
be
you,
clear
for
on that,
clarifying.
Mayor. You understand? Just for
Yeah.
clarification.
Right. The type of community outreach will be tailored, so this is not an expectation that they're gonna have committed staff every day to
Yeah.
do something.
Right,
There will be
exactly. No, I
tailored
know.
community outreach for different projects and programs for the campaigns that we do develop together as a team.
Okay, now I'm a little bit lost, but okay, I think I got it. Because I think what I understood that what they will do, press release, newsletters, and annual report. For 70,000, I think that's fine, but
Yeah,
I'm
but
under
it
the
says to
impression-
develop campaign to.
Okay.
inform
Yeah.
public.
Where-
So
where-
it
But that
does
is,
say-
that's right there,
There's a second.
at the bottom of the
Yeah.
second whereas,
okay.
at the bottom of it.
They're gonna be doing the Instagram, the
Yeah,
Twitter.
that's what
They
I
do the
thought.
social media as well,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Right, all the
Awesome.
social media channels.
Yes.
And if I might,
Yes.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chair.
Chair.
The metrics, capturing the metrics from different channels is tricky. It's only YouTube that really keeps good tabs
Analytics.
on who's looking based on age, location, all of that stuff. Like, Instagram, you can mark how many new followers you have, but Instagram doesn't track whether they're in North Miami, out of North Miami, what their age is, whatever, so.
Facebook does through their Meta account.
The Meta- yeah, it's a new
You have to have an
account
account
now.
set up.
Okay,
Right.
we
Some
did
of the
7:15.
channels do a better job than others. Some of the platforms do a better job than others.
Awesome. Go ahead, Madam Clerk. I'm sorry, Madam
Oh.
Secretary.
I'll second it.
Well,
Yeah.
I had a motion made by the vice
Vice
chair to approve agenda item 7. The motion was seconded by Board Member Timothy.
Actually, it's the app. I had, but, right, on this one, I had, right, Vice Chair? I think I had motioned it.
Honestly, I think a lot of people did.
That's,
so I don't know.
that's fine. Go ahead, greet it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
All right, go ahead.
I mean, you could always call him,
Yeah.
okay, in
No,
the
no, no.
future if
So
you
you
want.
want
No, we good.
you want
All
to
in
make-
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion,
You opposed?
No, I'm going
That's what
to.
you just said.
oh, okay. Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
It's a long day. You know, we get to item number 9.
Agenda item 8. Resolution to approve of Art on the Plaza grant agreement. A resolution of the chair and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving the funding for the Museum of Contemporary Art, Inc., a Florida not-for-profit corporation, MOCA, in the form of a grant in the amount of $70,000. To provide funding for MOCA's Arts on the Plaza program, authorizing the executive director and North Miami CRA attorney to negotiate and finalize an agreement with MOCA to provide funding for MOCA's Art on the Plaza program, authorizing the executive director to execute the agreement, authorizing the executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the agreement, and providing for an effective date. Agenda item 8.
Thank you so much. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Board Member Charles to approve agenda item 8. The motion was seconded by Vice Chair Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you so much. Before we go to the next item, it's funny because I mentioned we only have 15 minutes to go. I was rushing, folks, because the clock that I'm looking says 7:15.
Somebody forgot to set this one
Yeah,
back.
and I think you mentioned that when the time goes back, so I just noticed that it's 6:15, so we got plenty of time. Thank you. Item number 9.
Agenda item 9, resolution to approve revised grant agreement with TR&M Holdings LLC. A resolution of the chair and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving the First Amendment to Infrastructure Grant Agreement between the North Miami CRA and TR&M Holdings LLC. Approving the First Amendment to Tax Increment Recapture Incentive Agreement between the North Miami CRA and TR&M Holdings LLC. Authorizing the executive director to execute the First Amendment to Infrastructure Grant Agreement and the First Amendment to Tax Increment Recapture Incentive Agreement. Authorizing the executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the First Amendment to Infrastructure Grant Agreement and First Amendment to Tax Increment Recapture Incentive Agreement, and providing an effective date. Agenda item 9.
Thank you so much. I know we had some discussion regarding this item. Any presentation from staff? I know Mr. Tate. Hey, how you doing? Public hearing on the item, and then we'll go forward into that. Would Mr. Attorney, Mr. Tate won't be under the public hearing, or would that be?
If there's any comments from the developer, they'd have to be made under public hearing. Of course, the board can call them up at any time and ask questions at their discretion.
Okay, Madam Executive Director, please explain what we're doing.
So before you is a First Amendment to both the Infrastructure Grant Agreement and Tax Incentive Recapture Agreement to extend the deadline for the conditions precedent until December 31st, 2024. This was, both of these agreements were approved on June 22nd, 2021 by the NMCR Board for the development of a multifamily residential rehab project. And the amount for the infrastructure agreement was $15,204,238. And that was split into 2 portions, where 9.6 with some change was to be spent for sewer and stormwater systems, electrical and other infrastructure related costs, and then 5.539 and some change were to be spent for permit and impact fees. The award of the tax increment recapture incentive agreement was a 50% rebate of the projected city ad valorem tax revenues not to exceed $5.4 million. The 4 conditions precedent are laid out in the staff memo, and those are the requirements that the grantee is seeking the extension to be able to complete. Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
We done?
You're saying they're seeking the extension to complete when?
Until December 31st, 2024.
And
Okay.
it also has I'm seeing a December 31st, 2028 date as well.
28?
Where? December 31st?
That's the extension of the funding termination date. So if you extend the date to comply 1 year, you have to extend out the funding termination date as
Oh,
well.
Until,
Right.
okay.
Right.
Okay, I know there was some discussion, so we met with Mr. Tate. We good? We all good on this? And Mr. Tate, we good? We good to go? Thank
But
you.
if there's no public discussion, I'll move approval.
No, I do
Yes.
have some questions and,
Okay, let's go ahead.
oh,
No,
me?
no, go
Okay.
ahead, yes.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, I did review it, and I spoke to this city attorney and to Ms. Annabelle at length
I mean,
about this.
The CRA attorney.
Oh, CRA
I
attorney,
know, I know,
I'm
back and
sorry.
forth.
I could be the city attorney.
I
And the
think you have enough
executive
in your-
director. And there's a part that I'm not too comfortable with.
Which part?
The automatic renewal. I think it needs to be subject to board approval for the option to extend. Because what we'll essentially be doing here is tying up our CRA budget for 4 fiscal years. And that's gonna be 4 years where we have to continuously budget this money, not knowing whether we're going to spend or not. So you know how we already hold up by 11 million this year, then we're gonna be held up by another, certain amount. I think that if there's going to be an extension, it should be subject to board approval. Because tying up our CRA dollars for over 4 years, not knowing whether the
This
project
is-
is gonna move forward or not.
Can you show me what's the
Yeah,
language?
because, wait a minute.
In section 4, the option to extend, as it reads right now, it's automatic, right? It's not subject to board approval, it's not subject to the executive director's approval.
When you say, automatic approval, which page are we on?
Page 11.
5 of
Page
14,
5 of 14.
Oh, 5?
the option to extend.
It's not page 11?
What is this? Oh, option to extend, I got it now, on number 4. Wait, which sentence are we, extension?
It
If
says-
developer despite.
If
using
grantee
commercial-
success,
Go ahead.
if grantee exercises such option, the funding termination date shall automatically be extended to terminate on December 31st, 2028. That
Oh.
part should be subject to board approval. So it shouldn't happen automatically.
Is that a big thing, or
Yes, it-
I'm lost? Are you, yes, sir, go ahead. I'm trying to figure out.
Are you asking me, Mr.?
No,
Mr.
not
Chair?
you, I'm asking Mr. Tate. He's
So are you
coming up
making
for
a,
the-
are you
Okay.
making a?
That'll be my
Yeah,
amendment.
I'm trying to figure
to
out
the
what
contract.
that is. I'm using my security.
Mayor, Commission.
Yes,
um,
Name and
Thank you for
address
having
for the
me up.
record, please.
My name is Jimmy Tate. Address is 12855 Biscayne Bay Drive. Office is 1175 Northeast 125th Street. So the document before you tonight was negotiated between my team, our attorney, the CRA's attorney, and the executive director.
that's what I thought.
And we spent a lot of time, and there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of give and take. It's not necessarily an automatic approval. We have to show good faith. The intent was that we all see we're in perilous times right now. We have 2 wars going on, we have an
We got it.
election.
No, we-
The economy right now is not conducive for development of this sort. So we've agreed to use a good faith effort to meet with all the lenders that normally lend at this level. It's a very large loan, it's over $120 million. And that we would spend the time, money, and effort sourcing this type of financing. If, through no fault of our own, and we will document this and show you the good faith effort, we are unable to source financing, then we ask not an automatic 12 months, up to 12 months. Our intent is, time is money.
Got
It's
it.
money for us, it's money for you guys. So.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Annabelle, is that, can we arrange up to, because
Yeah.
I think the only issue that we have, the word automatic, and he just said that, he said up to.
Up to.
Can
The
we do
current
that?
language is up to.
Okay.
However, it is automatic. The both things exist, so.
Okay. So,
Does it make sense? I mean,
Mr.
yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm ready to second the motion, but can we strike out that automatic so that we can on one line? So again, that up to 12 months, Mr. Tate just said in here, so we can work on it.
Okay, to be clear,
Yeah.
the agreement as currently drafted
already
says
have it.
both things. It
Both
is
language.
automatic, but it is up to 12 months.
Okay.
The board needs to decide if that's a problem or
That's-
not. I mean, so it's not
Okay.
striking anything. It has both languages in there right now.
No, I think we okay with the language, but now board member Timothy said that the up to 12 months, and then you just get back in here to the board if and so
That would be a change.
that would be a change.
Yes.
All right. So
Are you okay with it?
No, that's the change, that's the amendment that I'm requesting in order to support the item as is. I'm only supporting it like with that amendment change. Like I spoke to Mr. Tate, I told him what my positions was, I spoke to staff at length, and the reason why we're here today is because after I met with Mr. Tate and I told him that, hey, do you know that your contract is going to be automatically rescinded in December if you don't make a change?
Okay.
So I've been working with
I
Mr.
got
Tate,
it. Is
work-
that- are we
met with
good?
Michael Sterling, but that is
No?
my
Okay.
amendment.
Okay.
Did
Now
anybody
we're back to
motion it,
square
or do
one.
I need a motion? and
No,
what
no,
the-
hold on, we're back
um,
to square one. I thought we were okay, I'm ready, I'm like ready to party, okay. So what is the disagreement? Because Council Member Timothy said she's been working with your office. I thought we were good, in terms of that.
Can we see if there's a second to the motion
Well,
to
wait,
change the
before,
language?
I'm just trying, I
Yeah,
know,
no,
but Scott, I'm just
I know
trying,
what you- I know what you're trying. I know.
try to be, yes, sir.
I was asked by this board to work closely with the executive director on all
Yeah.
these matters. We did. It was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of negotiation. We acquiesced. We agreed to what the executive director asked us for, and the attorney. That's what's before you. A change to that is not what we agreed to,
Yeah, that's-
and there's
yeah.
a reason why we can't afford it. And
Okay.
so I really didn't, I promised everyone I wasn't going to get into everything, but we
No, we
did
got it.
agree to what was sent to us by the attorney and the executive director, and we're agreeing to that, what's before you now.
No,
We
no,
asked no
okay,
changes.
go
be
ahead,
made.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
so this was a heavily negotiated document. Initially, the drafts that we received from Mr. Tate's attorney asked for a one-year extension. Okay, as part of the negotiation, I, as your attorney, asked for this waiver of claims to protect this board from any claims that may have,
That's
arisen
That's
prior to
not
the
what we-
date.
No, no,
Excuse me.
he's just-
You have the floor, let me finish, please. Thank you. Okay? So, when I put that waiver in, the initial reaction was, no, we don't want to give from the developer was, we don't want to give you the waiver now, we'll give it to you in the future when you give us money. And my position was, that's not acceptable, because now there's still an interim period. So, the developer then agreed to the present waiver of claims language on the basis that they got this option to extend for a second year. That was not part of what the executive director and I proffered to the developer. That's what the developer asked for as a condition to agree to the waiver of claims.
Okay, Mr. Attorney, now I have a problem. Because I was okay, I thought we were okay in terms of where we are. From my.
And there's no
yes,
staff
from
recommendation.
my understanding,
I would assume that the fact that this was negotiated, put to paper, and brought to us is a staff recommendation.
This is the best deal that we could negotiate based upon the position of the developer.
so what does that mean?
So
That
that means
means
that we
that's the
have to make a
best deal
decision.
We have
that
to
we
make
could
the decision.
negotiate with the developer and put in front of you.
And so I know in the past, this board has, I think, NOMI had Horizon, they rescinded that grant. In the past, if someone is not ready with their project, the grants have been rescinded. In this case, we're not doing that, and I'm okay with that. Like, hey, we want to encourage development, we want people to come here, but at the same time, too, we have a lot of projects that are in the pipeline that are waiting for funding, and they can't access funding because, hey, our budget is tied up with previous agreements. So I'm not saying, hey, let's rescind this grant or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying, hey, this automatic option to renew should be subject to board approval. So if you want to, if you want to exercise that option to renew, you have to come back before the board and explain to us, why are you requesting another 2 years after you already had 2 years to get this project completed? That is the only condition that I am asking in order to support this item, is that we make that amendment that removes the automatic renew, and we just include a board decision.
With that being said,
Yeah.
hold on, Mr. Galvin, Board Member Galvin. I'm a little bit puzzled because today we met in my office, the attorney and the executive director. There was something, so when I got here today, because everybody know I ain't got time to play no games, I thought we were okay. So Madam Executive Director or Mr. Attorney, what the council member mentioned to you, were you guys aware of those conditions prior to my meeting?
I had that conversation with him today.
Of course.
So you were aware of the negotiation in terms of what she said?
It was not a negotiation.
I would
It was
it's not a
my suggestion. It
negotiation.
wasn't in a, yeah.
As we brief you,
Yes.
everyone gets briefed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
And
want
I
to be
think it's subject
briefed.
to
And as part of that
sunshine.
briefing, they may tell us
Yeah, no,
things
I
that
mean,
they want
yes.
changed in the document. I certainly can't convey that
No, no,
information
we,
to anybody
sir,
else
sir,
on the
excuse me,
board.
sir.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know that. That's
Okay,
not what
I know
I
you
asked
know.
you. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Because right now, I am faced with, because I thought we were okay. So where are we now?
I think we're still okay. I think the language is just not automatically and subject to board approval.
What does that
That's-
word
that's-
automatic do?
That means that it automatically happens versus
know.
just coming back, just like we have another item in the city that say, hey, I have some issues or difficulties and I'm asking for an extension. I don't think that that's
So
unreasonable.
that's what, so he's requesting, it was my understanding, I thought it was, so it's 2 years or now it's a year? Because I had heard 2 and I heard 1, where are we? That's what
It's a one-year extension that you would be granting. And then if the grantee doesn't meet, doesn't like the financing conditions, went out there, went to the market, didn't like them, and shows you that, at the grantee's election, they can automatically extend for a second year.
Which
Right,
I think
which is
I'm
not-
okay, no, I think that part, but what I'm hearing, and I think I'm okay with that language in terms of, but that would give 2 years, because in terms of good faith, let's say with good faith, if he's out there and no reason to him, or it could be maybe the city, the other part that we have that's held up, whatever the case is. My thing is, the word automatic that council member mentioned, which I think it would be fair, but are we saying that they'll get another additional year? That if they,
That is correct.
Just
Okay.
subject
It's an
to,
option to extend for a second year.
It's just an option.
so that would be more than what is in here right now, correct?
so the
This-
year,
yes.
because it's in December, Mayor,
Yes.
it goes over 2 fiscal year, right? So 1 year is.
distribution.
Yeah, the distribution. So
Yeah.
pushing,
Got
the thing is, like, all I'm asking is that
No,
for the
I get
renewal,
you.
it just
No.
comes, yeah.
I think, I understand that, what your position, Mr. Tate, yes, sir.
So in all fairness, when we originally sent our original request for an extension, it was pretty simple. We just asked for a 1-year extension.
Okay.
The city attorney asked us to indemnify.
The city,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
the
yeah,
C-
yeah.
the CRA
Good job, Jeff.
attorney asked us to indemnify and hold harmless and agree not to bring any claims against the city and waive all of our rights on all the.
The CRA.
I mean, the CRA, I'm sorry. Waive any rights we may have to claims for damages we may have incurred for past actions, which was a big ask because we've been damaged, in our opinion. In our opinion.
That's your
Sorry,
opinion, that's
sorry,
fine.
Sorry, in our opinion, I'm sorry.
That's
So-
not what we're talking about.
So
right
what happened was, I said, I can't do that in fairness, but if you grant us an extension and we close and you perform, I'll sign the waiver today, keep it in an escrow account, you hold it. And he said, no, I won't do that. So I tried to find a solution, and I said, look, guys, here's a solution. If we can, after a good faith effort, find financing, okay, and we even set forth the criteria using today underwriting criteria. If we use a good faith effort and we show you all the banks we went to and we show you their responses and we show you our underwriting and their underwriting and the deal doesn't underwrite, meaning they won't loan, then we asked for an extra full year and your attorney said, no, I will go up to a year. I want you to continue pushing to move it forward. And I acquiesced and I said, okay. And so they then sent us a document, we reviewed it, and we said, we'll approve this, and that's what's before you today. I understand the commissioner's change, but it's not what we agreed to, and it's not what we can agree to tonight, because they're asking us to sign a waiver, as soon as this gets signed, of all claims and damages, as if everything's okay. And
No,
that
from
was...
my understanding, and you could tell me if I'm incorrect from what I understand, in terms of the good faith, and that's why I like things plain and simple as a school teacher, because now we're getting to the technical part. It's my understanding, based on what I was briefed, well, I think that's where I had my issue, but I think I'm getting some clarification. We working with you, and we understand that you've been working with us. We get that. I believe they are saying if you go out there and you show us good faith, things cannot work out. Honestly, then you know, after a year, is it a year or two?
It's after a year.
Then you come back and we'll, you know, we'll extend, because by that time, I think we all would know if we're in a crisis or whatever the case is. Is that where we at? I just wanted to understand in plain, like, is that the?
That would be what the change is that Board Member Timothy is asking for. That's the change.
Okay.
What these documents say don't say that.
Don't say that. So, Mr. Tate, would that be, should we postpone this where you go back with them and kind of work this thing out, or what are we in terms of doing?
Yeah, I don't think it should be.
Can I-
I don't think
postponed.
it's
That delays
can
the
I-
project.
Okay.
Can I,
Sure,
just
go
make a point?
ahead.
Like I said, I am ready to second the motion with the amendment, because I think it is, will be good policy that if after 1 year, because we have up to 1 year into it, after 1 year, you just go back in here and explain exactly what it is, and from there, we move on and get it work. That, we need to have that buffer. I believe we do need to have it, and Mr. Attorney, I just want to have your legal opinion again, make it clear,
But it's a
so that
policy.
we know exactly how we're moving here.
Okay, so first of all, when we drafted the agreement, when we were negotiating and faced with the request to have this option to renew, you know, I drafted language to try and you know, define what the good faith effort would be on the developer's part before they could extend at their election. Not, you know, with any sort of reasonable
Yeah,
approval by the
this is-
executive
yeah.
director or the board or anybody, so that we would at least have some level of comfort that they've done their due diligence and there isn't the available financing that they wanted. So the document is drafted,
Thank you,
as,
sir.
as,
Thank you.
as I stated
Thank you.
earlier, is the best deal that we were able to draft.
Yeah,
with
but
the
now we
developer.
came here where we, thank you, Mr. Tate, because I, honestly, I think, it's very clear,
Right.
and it's clear to me. But that's not what I was
But-
under the impression. Madam, please, Mr. Councilman, I thought we were okay. And we came in, the item, and there was a request, and that's why I said, do we need to pull it? Because it's not fair if we all were under one thing, and then we came in, if the both parties not agree to it, I thought it was just one word. That's why I said, what does that word mean? It's automatic and up to, I thought it was okay, but obviously, there's something either parties know, they don't know, because
Well, I think the
something is-
third party is us. Like,
Okay.
we have to make sure that we agree and we're comfortable. Like, they're at a place where, hey, they met their agreement. This is now left up to us to decide, hey, how do we move forward? I just proffered my, you know, minor amendment, which was just to, hey, make sure that the renewal comes back to us to approve and it's not automatic. That is the only amendment that I'm requesting.
Isn't the, come back to us?
No,
No.
with this language, it does not. That is what the
That's-
board
that's what I'm
member is
requesting.
requesting.
Go ahead,
So
Councilman Galvin, go ahead.
So first off, if in the future any of us have an issue with this, we can always bring it back. I mean, there's nothing that prohibits us from bringing things back for further discussion. Let's say we're a year from now, and the markets, things not at the developer's fault have happened, and
That's
they weren't able to secure. It's not their fault. They've really tried. They've gone to every bank in the world, and it's still not there. What happens then if we say, well, then we're not extending you any further?
You have
That-
no right to say you're not extending them, okay? In this document,
Right?
it's at the grantees election. I mean, we put language in to make sure they did all those things you just described.
Right.
But if they do them, you would never know. I mean, we would obviously report to you that they've extended for another year.
Right.
But it's at their election.
Right. But under the proposed language by the commissioner, that it would come back, I know the difference between an automatic and between another council decision. If we were to adopt that language that she's putting forward as an amendment, if we were to adopt that, and then in a year, despite them having done everything they possibly could, and still not being able to get the financing that they need, et cetera, or some case of horrors that I can't even come up with right now, the council could still then vote to
Board member,
terminate. No,
Galvin?
but I hear you, but I need to hear my attorney say what that would
Well,
lead to with the
you-
council.
you
You
could-
bring this back.
if you had that
I'd assume
right.
you'd bring this back at about this time next year.
Right, if-
So I won't be up here. It'll be another council person sitting up here making this decision. But you bring this back in another year, they've tried everything they could, war, plague, pestilence, it didn't happen. This council can then, when you bring it back to us, say we're shutting it down, even though they've extended more time, more money, more effort.
The way I understand the ask is that Board Member Timothy wants it to come back so the developer can show you that they did all those things.
Right.
Okay, and then the decision of the board would obviously have to be a reasonable decision. It's not a,
Reasonable's an open-ended.
I understand,
Yeah, and-
I
and
understand,
as the
Board
attorney-
No,
Member,
and
but.
may I,
And even
I've
a
been
new
asking-
board can come in and
Yeah, that's
rescind
what
the
we're saying.
grant as well, if the developer, so it doesn't matter
But-
if it's there or not. If the board is not in
May-
agreement, the
Go
new
ahead.
board at that time could say,
I've been trying
So
to
that
say
would be
something.
the whole thing.
No,
Yeah, we're
but,
gonna let you
but,
come. That would be the whole
but,
thing to just.
but
go ahead, the word,
if
yeah.
we look at the history of this board,
rescind the grant.
this board and other boards, this board has never demonstrated that if somebody has done something reasonable to rescind. As a matter of fact, this board has there's been developers or whoever grantees that have willingly rescinded and then come back and receive that. So we've never done that. I've not seen that, whether I was on the board or other board members
No
prior to that,
residency.
and that is not my intent personally, my intent with with the developer. I think that it should just come back, personally, it could come back to the board. Here are the difficulties that we're having here, no problem, we'll extend it. I don't think that's unreasonable.
That's what
I
I'm
don't,
saying.
and that's all.
These things
But the
would-
automatic language, why? We're saying good faith, there's good faith here on both sides. Let's just come back, just do the work,
Here's a
come
question,
back,
though.
and so,
I totally agree,
you're-
totally agree. Here's a question, though. Do we, by placing that bring it back to us condition in place, jeopardize their ability to get funding and get other backing?
it should
Because the
not.
bank
It
would say,
doesn't
well,
change
I don't
dollar
know.
amount, it doesn't do any of those things,
But
it
if
does
I'm
not.
lending my money, if I'm the bank and I'm saying, here's my money, Mr. Tate, here's my money, go build. But wait, the city might vote in 12 months to reverse what?
No,
This
No,
is a
no,
grant.
no,
This
no,
is a
no.
grant.
That's a
Not what-
condition
no.
is
This is a
met.
grant.
This is a condition precedent,
go ahead.
getting the funding.
Go ahead,
Okay, I'm
sir.
sure we all hope, and including
Sir,
Mr. Tate, that they
Mr.
get the funding within the next year.
Absolutely.
Okay, and this,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this
yeah.
extension never has to even be considered automatic or with your approval, okay? No, once the construction loan is obtained and closed, all of this goes away. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I was hopeful this was going to get, passed tonight because we negotiated, but obviously it's not. So in fairness, I just need 2 minutes just to explain. It has nothing to do with any of the people here. But there's a history of why we're here. And I think this board needs to understand it so they understand why we asked for the extra time. Okay? The fact of the matter is a prior director, has nothing to do with this director, came to us multiple occasions with one of your CRA advisors at 3 different meetings, told me starting in August, September, I have it written down, at 3 separate meetings all the way through 2022, they did not have money. They tried to renegotiate our CRA agreement. And I said to this director, we can't afford to do it. But what we will do is work with you in good faith and not proceed with our loan so we don't get hurt. And we'll wait until the first quarter of 2023. And then things didn't go right with that director. He was gone. The new director came on. We met with the new director. In fairness to her, she had a lot to do, a lot to get up to speed, and then that time went forward. So it's not like we just arbitrarily didn't perform. We were ready to close this loan in January, February, then again in April, May. After that time, we lost our funding. So here we are today, and yes, Commissioner Timothy did meet with us very nicely in her office with the director, and she called the attorney on the phone, and we went over the agreement with myself multiple times, and even prior to that, we got on the phone with the city manager and the director and your city attorney and myself again, at which time we try to work out a solution where possibly the city could defer certain payments so that the CRA could afford to make the first payment. We've been working in good faith with this firm, with everybody here. The problem is, as the commissioner and the attorney told me when I was in her office, that the contract has a sunset date, and if we don't close by that sunset date, is that correct, Commissioner? Yes? And it was confirmed by the attorney, if we don't close by that sunset date, then this whole contract automatically terminates. So after that, I called my attorney, and he said, yeah, that's correct. We need to go ahead and either close this, but there was no financing at that point. So here we are today. So your attorney said, and we only asked for a 1-year extension. Your attorney said, whoa, I want a full indemnity. And I said, I can't give you an indemnity because what if you don't close? He goes, I represent my client and I have to protect my client and I want a full indemnity. I said, fine. I was against my better judgment, but if you want a full indemnity, then if we can't close for no reasons dealing with us, but dealing with third-party external factors that we can't control, the environment, insurance, interest rates, banking, whatever, the deal doesn't work. If you want my indemnity now, then in fairness, you need to give me additional time if I go through this good faith effort to try to find financing and it's not available, you have to extend it. Otherwise, I can't give you that indemnity. And so that's why we asked for this additional time. That's the only reason we asked for the additional time, so you could get this indemnity. If you don't give me the additional time, I can't, in fairness, agree to give you an indemnity today because 1 year may not be enough time. So that's the whole story.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you so much.
So thank
Board
you
member?
again for sharing your point of view, but even in your story, you demonstrated the good faith. You just mentioned on record that the board member mentioned to you that, listen, your funding is going to end. So I don't think maybe you had realized, or your grant will, may not be exercised. She pointed that out to you. To me, that shows good faith. That's an example of showing good faith. And again, I don't understand why we're making this so hard. We're not saying take $1 away. We're not saying anything. Jimmy, you live here. You have business here. You come here all the time. This is not the first deal that we've done with you. So you understand this board. All we're saying is, and honestly, this decision is with us. And I'm in agreement with subject to board approval. Jimmy's no stranger to us, this developer is no stranger to us, and he knows he has access to us personally. He can come here, and I don't find that to be unreasonable for an amendment to say subject to board approval.
So can I make
And so
a motion?
I'm comfortable, let me just state it on the record, to approve this as is with those terms.
Is that your motion?
No,
Oh,
there's a motion on.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
And
Excuse me, hold on.
Wait.
Wait a minute, hold on. Yes, please. Let's see. Do you have something you want to add?
No, I'm waiting to hear if there's even gonna be a second to the.
Okay.
No,
Well, Mayor?
there is a second.
Mayor.
Yes. Yes.
Chair, sorry.
Go ahead.
So there was a motion on the floor and it was made by Board Member Galvin.
Yes. Yep.
And Board Member Charles said that you would motion assuming that the amendments were accepted. But now it would be on to Board Member Galvin to express
Accept.
whether he would
Yeah, that's what I
accept
was trying to
the
get to.
amendment, the amendments proposed.
Or do you want to remove your?
No, I'll leave my motion as is, as originally approved, as originally put forward.
Awesome.
Then
Vote.
I'm gonna have to withdraw my second because we need.
Well, no, there is no second.
Oh, there's no
So
second.
there's no
Okay.
second,
Oh.
because you were making
Yes.
an
Okay, okay.
aspirational statement.
All right.
So now, is there a second to that motion?
To which
So then the
motion?
motion, to Board Member Galvin's motion to
Yes, I'll
approve the item
second.
as is.
Yes, I'll second that.
Okay.
Just before we vote,
Yes, sir.
I
Go
am
ahead.
going to say for the record, I'm in favor of this item with the amendment. So that's just.
So if
just
the
for
first
record.
motion failed, then I'll motion the second one.
Okay, so no, we gotta vote on this one tonight, and then we'll do a new one.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have a motion made by Board Member Galvin to, I apologize. I'm gonna use my outdoor voice because my mouth is not
Oh, you use the city attorneys.
I have a motion made by Board Member Galvin to approve Agenda Item 9. The motion was seconded by Chairman Desilme. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay. So now,
So the-
we all, wait,
the
hold on,
motion
hold on,
fails.
Madam Clerk, thank you. So now,
So,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Madam Clerk. Go ahead.
And I will make a motion.
I
Oh,
need to call the vote
okay.
first. So
Yes,
the
I'll
motion
go ahead and
fails with a 2-3 vote. So now I would need, well, as you were.
I'll
Yeah.
make a motion with my stated motion that I'll motion to approve this item with the amendment stating that the automatic renewal is subject to board approval.
I'll second that.
Mr. Mayor, do you need any further public comment?
No, I think we need,
All right,
we need to vote, go
I
ahead.
have a motion made by Board Member Timothy to approve Agenda Item 9 with the amendment that the automatic renewal would be subject to board approval. The motion was seconded by Board Member Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
The motion carries with a 4-1 vote.
Okay, thank you. Wait a minute, there. We are on, wait a minute, where are we? Oh, item for discussion, none. CRA report, attorney report.
No report tonight, sir.
Madam Executive Director, any report?
Very quickly, you have been provided with a CRA staff monthly report. It's the November meeting, so you're getting our report for the month of October. This is giving you a status update for the commercial grants, the residential grants, and our infrastructure projects. And we can brief these individually, but as promised, on a monthly basis, you will be getting an update of the prior month's activities so that you are aware of what's happening in the CRA. I will also say that time is of the essence, but I'll brief it.
Move to adjourn.
Yeah.
Second.
Wait, yes, but I have some questions.
Oh, wait, the
Wait,
chair,
wait,
the
wait,
chair
hold
is
on,
still
I'm like,
talking.
come on, real quick, I know we're trying to get to the reception, but the sprinkler, that went to the city? That's the money, the sprinkler, on the other capital project? We never had that, I think the city had it, right?
The sprinkler, no, we
Yes.
have it.
You guys had it?
We have it.
Oh, okay.
Driveway approach went to the city.
Yeah.
The city, okay, there's nothing with the sprinkler.
No, we do have 9 properties ready. We have contractors going to do the assessment so they can start the work.
So where's the money, how many that we were supposed to get? How did we get with 9?
Well, we did have a list of 33, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And we've been calling.
You've been calling also, but
yeah.
what I'm saying, the money's not there for those homes. What happened to the money?
The
When
bo-
I'm looking at this for, is that something I'm reading wrong?
No.
Would it be on here?
No, I mean, if once we start, we'll start the work for the 9 properties and the balance.
No, I know, but the original amount, I don't see nothing under
Oh,
there.
no, we did not put the original amount. The funding remains the same for the sprinkler program.
Did you read it? It's blank. That was my only question.
Yes.
So why would it be blank? Yeah. Other projects?
It's probably an oversight from my part, but the amount remains the same. I will make sure to include it at the
Please don't-
next
please,
report.
At least for stuff for the public, please.
This is
do
not a
extra careful on
Yes,
that. Thank
okay.
you.
All right.
Alrighty. Wait a minute. That's approximately $2 million,
I
okay.
have a motion made by Board Member Galvin to adjourn, seconded by Vice Chair Esme Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.